20 years of Westward, 4946 TXN 211281, Part 1, Take 1.
Good luck, everybody.
I'd like you to have a look at this. Now here is a model of Drake's ship, the Golden Hind. And we've chosen it not only because it's a beautiful ship, but also because to us it represents the West Country. And one of the things we want to do more than anything else is to identify ourselves with the four counties of Devon and Cornwall, Somerset and Dorset. And we sincerely want to produce programs that you will like. And this is where I'd like your help. We don't know what you want until you tell us. And we want you to tell us what you like and what you don't like. And please don't restrict your advice to what you don't like. It's very important to us to know that we are pleasing the majority of the people the majority of the time. Quite obviously, we can't hope to please all the people all the time.
Good evening, and just a reminder about some of our programs later this evening. Following the news, Chief Inspector Lockhart will be trying to solve another case in No Hiding Place. But before that, at 7, we have the West Country's own quiz program, Ordinary People, where there's the chance to win £100.
And that's followed at 7:30 by our new serial set in the Manchester heartland, Coronation Street.
No, not an old recording, but it was something which I may well have been saying to you on that first Monday of Westward's life back in 1961. And tonight we look back with some very old friends over the 20 years or so of Westward's existence. The very first announcement, though, wasn't made by me. That came from the station's first chief announcer, the late Guy Corey. But from those early days, we have quite a roll call of faces and people who became your friends.
Michael Piper, now directing news bulletins for ITN. Audrey Reeby, still living here in Devon. And Penny Bowles, who went to BBC and is now in London. And how many of you remember Linda Goodman with her impish smile?
Stuart Hutchison, still with us, but busily writing scripts. And then in the mid to late 60s, this young lady appeared.
Time fly. It's 14 years since I made my way down to Westward Television in Plymouth. Made my way being the operative word. I never actually got there. I bought an old banger of a car the day before, and it sort of went wrong, and I ended up in hospital. But I was really overwhelmed by the generosity of the West Country people who'd never seen me, and they sent me cards and flowers and boxes of fruit. It was a lovely way to almost have arrived. In fact, when I was better and was on my way down there, they sent up one of the staff to make sure I got there this time. It was a nice year. When you're in television, you're always learning, and I learned a lot down there. It was a lonely year, too. That's a surprising thing, you know. People always assume if you're in front of camera, you must be leading a fantastic life, but everybody assumes you are, so nobody ever asks you anywhere, and it is quite lonely. What other things do I remember about that year? Oh, that pantomime. I played Cinderella, and it snowed the night before. It would have been cold enough anyway, but that just added to our problems. And we filmed it at Bicton House. Do you know, I've never seen it. I had a weekend off when it was shown, and that was that.
Are we there? Well, are we? Well, no. You see, this is Pine Junction, and we're supposed to be at Snodley Cliffs. There appears to have been some mistake. I'm terribly sorry, Clive.
Oh, God, he's done it again. Well, let's get out of here quickly. I mean, I'm getting a most dreadful draft in the most extraordinary places.
Now, look here, you got us into this mess. How do you propose to get us out of it?
Andy, darling, we're already late. We'll miss the show.
I really am most terribly sorry. I just don't know where to put myself.
Are you open to suggestions, madam?
Wait a minute, chaps. Pine Junction. That rings a bell. There's a big country house somewhere near here where we're sure to get some help. I know the way. Follow me.
Who would remember Westward without Gus Honeybun and doing all those birthday greetings to the children? I don't think at that time I ever thought that I'd have children or a child of my own. But 1981 was a very good year for me. I went into my own production company. And this is Master Jonathan. So all I can say is thank you very much, Westward, for having me.
We always seem to get the prettiest of girls. Jane Turner, now living in California. Susan Denny, busy with BBC Radio 2. Colleen Gray, tucked away in Cornwall.
Jenny Clulow, living on Dartmoor. Jane Criddle, another local girl who went to Southampton. Helen McDermott, who we still see when she's in Plymouth. And, of course, our Judy, with Loch Shawn now. But let's not forget the men.
Ian Ritchie, the professional part-timer. Our other Ian, sterling of quality. And David, who fought with Gus before battling with the Diary and other programmes.
All those who've joined with me in keeping you in touch with programmes and other events. But the more eagle-eyed among you will have noticed one glaring omission. Yes, that laugh, which means only one person, Sheila Kennedy. Sheila, lovely to see you.
Thank you.
Sheila, among all the multifarious other duties you had to perform while you were here at Westward, you also became known as Gus Honeybun's mum.
Oh,
How did
yes.
that start? What started all that?
Well, I think that was because I was, the first woman to ever sort of play with Gus, as they say, if I can say that. And I think it just evolved because it was great fun. Doing Gus in those days, we used to do stories and things like that, and I used to sort of make up little games and things, and ideas of where he'd been during the day. And in fact, he used to be very good because we had a marvellous scheme one year for Guy Fawkes Night.
Yeah.
And we thought, now what can we do for Guy Fawkes Night, you see? So we had Gus dressed up in bandages and a splint, and he had his arm up, and I think even an ear was in a splint, and he looked absolutely dreadful. And we had all the children writing in and saying, write in poems and tell us how stupid Gus has been, you see, because he'd actually held a firework in his hand. And after that, on the actual Guy Fawkes Night, the accident rate throughout the West Country went down quite a lot, and we were very pleased about that. But he was such fun to be with.
Yes, he was. Well, you were also something of a journalist when our programme information was carried in the journal Look Westward. What sort of things were you writing about in those days?
Oh, darling, they were lovely hints that everybody used to write in. You used to get lovely handy hints for things like recipes and things to put on your face and marvellous things that would make your feet feel better and things like that. And that was all things, really, that people just wrote in and told you about.
Helpful hints for the West Country.
Oh, it was indeed.
Tell me, Sheila, was there ever any part of being a television announcer with which you weren't 100% delighted?
Well, I think, really and truly, I think it might have been to do with newscasting, and I'm sure, lovely Angela, who'll be with us later, will say that it's not that way, but I used to get very upset sometimes about some of the news that we had to read out.
Well, newscasting can, of course, be very exciting, and in a peninsula where water is never far away and where the hills and moorlands attract every type of weather, it's not surprising that many of our news bulletins are centred on the elements.
With gales, storms and floods behind us, the blizzards and general Arctic weather of 1963 came as no real surprise when they finally arrived. And although those conditions did not return for more than a decade, it still only takes one fall of snow to bring the entire region to a standstill, and for towns and villages to be isolated and cut off.
The sea, too, brought its dramas as it expended its force and majesty on ships, but nothing perhaps was as brutal as when the Torrey Canyon went down off the Isles of Scilly. And for nearly a month, this story led every news bulletin.
Until that weekend in early 1967, no one could visualize how much horror an oil tanker could contain when tanks were penetrated and oil was allowed to slide sinuously across the sea surface.
Well, that voice comes from one of the first presenters ever to appear on Westward Diary, Kenneth MacLeod.
Roger, I do have something for Sheila because I met a master chef. Sheila presented the Gus Honeybun Festival. What do you think that is?
A most delicious carrot. Thank you. I shall treasure it. Treasure it, I will.
Kenneth, if I might ask you, you are Mr. Westward, particularly Mr. Westward Diary, 5 nights a week.
Feel that muscle.
In those early days of Westward, things were very different. Can you tell us a bit about that?
I remember people and faces. I remember coming. I only came down, curious enough, for 2 days. It's been a long engagement and a very thoroughly nice one. And, oh, Peter, that's our floor manager, laughing. I came off the train. Dear old Louis Severy, no longer with us, met me at the station, and I was flat broke. Now, we know the technical excellence of David Howth, Jerry Ewins, the late Bill Howell, and the marvellous, because I think what Westward has always had is the most fantastic technical backup in every way. But we have one man here called Charles Wright. And I said to Charles, I'm absolutely broke. Can you give me a sub? And he said, yes, certainly. And I don't think I've paid him back yet. Is he here tonight? No, I don't think he is.
Over the years, what major change do you think has affected you most?
I think that certainly as we've become more sophisticated, we don't get those awful breakdowns we used to have. Sometimes
disasters, you mean? Do
5, 10, 15 minutes where a film would break and it would go on and on. I remember with Del Cooper once, he was doing something about mackerel fishing, and we lost everything. And we went on, I think, for 25 minutes.
On wet fish?
Yes, he's very good. He knows about fish, you know, Del.
Yes, he does, I'm sure.
He knows about it.
Well, you make it look very relaxed and easy. How do you manage to do this? How do you manage to stay calm in all this welter of things that go on around you?
Particularly feel calm. I love you. You know, I do remember, you know, Roger, because the first thing I remember when I came here was that lovely infectious chuckle of yours. Let me hear it one more time. Let me hear it.
Beast.
Well, there are some items, of course, which have caused raised eyebrows, especially in the early 60s, even to the unflappable Ken MacLeod. But what was all the fuss about in those early diaries? Today, they may seem commonplace and even not worthy of comment. But back in 1961, nudes just didn't appear on television.
A naturist is a person who likes to be in the fresh air, the sunshine, for the benefit that it does to his body. He is not a nudist.
And what is the difference exactly?
Well, a nudist is a person who wants to be naked all the time, not exactly an exhibitionist, but one that thinks more of his body than he does of his health.
Yes, well, films like that made the headlines. Well, full frontals and 4-letter words were not yet part and parcel of programs. And that was to say nothing of the illegal activities which we uncovered in those early days of the diary.
It really does go on, with no betting tax to pay. A survival from the British countryside of the 18th century.
Well, I think even now cockfighting is liable to send people rushing to their phones to dial 999. But there were the notable events, and there weren't many more spectacular scenes than those which greeted Sir Francis Chichester on his return home.
She's there. Sir Francis has sailed round the world. From the shore, they beheld a great armada heralded by carnival plumes of red, white, and blue. Gypsy Moth reached her own buoy and was made fast. Lights helped to pick her out, and the watchers saw a cheerful way.
Sir Francis Chichester's Homecoming, a recreation of the glory of Old West Country sea dogs. But who was Harold Wilson trying to emulate when he held this famous press conference on the Isles of Scilly, also in 1965? It was not really the style of Disraeli, Gladstone, or even Clem Attlee. But through his home on St Mary's, Sir Harold was a familiar figure in the southwest, both in and out of office.
Cost a bit deserted island. I'll give it a push. Come around, go away, man. Come up and start looking up the camera again. That doesn't look natural. Get up first,
In 1962, Sir Alec Douglas Hume drew crowds more befitting royalty or pop stars than a prime minister.
Ted Heath, in his Board of Trade days, before he went on to bigger things in Downing Street, also made the Westward trek regularly.
And there are schools which carry Mrs. Thatcher's name as Education Minister rather than Prime Minister.
No West Country year is complete without its royal visitors, and everywhere the crowds.
We've watched the royal family grow from childhood to maturity.
And we've been aware of a great liking for and interest in hats.
And there's always been a warm welcome for Princess Margaret.
And for the West, an equally warm smile from the Queen Mother.
But politics and royalty were not the only subjects. Beatniks and St Ives dominated headlines in the 60s.
I didn't find anything better to interview than
Do you think that shouting to people they would be better off in dustbins is in keeping with St Ives?
No, they are probably pigs.
That's all they are. Do you think that this gives St Ives a good impression, shouting out things like that?
You know business here.
Why not?
You shouldn't.
Interviewing the wrong people.
You're in the damn place. You're in the wrong place. You're running the bloody place. We're trying to get visitors here, not send them away.
Well, visitors we spoke to yesterday saw no fault with them being here.
Oh, Dave, you might hear of you. What you're trying to do is to blacklist this town to stop good visitors coming here.
I worked 46 years in one bloody firm, and they're getting more off national assistance than I'm getting on a pension.
How do you feel life is in St Ives?
Well, it'd be all right if it weren't for the people turning the swags the way we dress. I mean, I've just been in there and I said, can I have a cup of tea, please, to take away? She says, no, I'm not serving you. I said, well, can I have the reason why? She said, I haven't got a reason.
Tradition and the offbeat have always been part and parcel of the West Country's makeup and character, and man's basic instinct to hunt has also been strong. This desire to hunt manifests itself beyond deer, fox, otter and hare. The conger eel was an unwilling victim on the Bristol Channel coast.
Go on, bring it on, boy. Go on, hang on a minute. Bring it. Go on. There he is,
Some reporters have found themselves in most unusual outfits.
I think my head was round the other way before you twisted it.
The unmistakable voice of Clive Gunnell, practicing his walks. And if Kenneth MacLeod must be regarded as Mr. Diary so far as the studio work is concerned, then Clive was certainly Mr. Diary out on location.
Let's go to the paper. Walk towards the window.
We must never forget the West's own inventor, the late Mr. Herbert Hayden of Weston Supermare.
In case they come anytime.
Well, the suit is merely is an explanation of why pilots of flying saucers appear like this. Because, you see, they are liable to static charges. Adamski, when he stood by the side of that flying saucer on his first contact with a pilot, wanted to go inside the same as I should, but he got no static suit on, and he was waved away. And as he turned away, his arm just touched the periphery of that saucer, and the static charge hit his arm up and went down, and he lost the use of it for 3 weeks. So I continued.
And at a more mundane level, a boon for cricketers. The painless bat with the springing carried through from the handle to the blade.
Rubber sandwich non-sting bat. The only one in the world, and I'm the only manufacturer that will guarantee a bat not to sting bought from me.
Do you think that'll give every hit a 6?
It'll put 4s into 6s, sir, if you'll use my bat. And singles into fours? Singles into perhaps twos, sir. No, we mustn't exaggerate.
Maybe for some matches this year, the England 11 could have done with some of those. Well, we've had a fair number of reporters on the diary since 1961, and in the late 60s, we said hello to a young girl who was known in amateur theatrical circles. We'd seen her work on local newspapers, and she'd done a stint with the BBC in Plymouth. Was she someone who would make a name in the world of television?
And their trousers. In here, it's a bit like the tropics. All I can say is, who needs Tenerife when we've got sunshine like this in North Devon? Good night.
Here then is the lady who first exposed her legs for Westward Diary in 1972, Miss Angela Rippon. Angela, how long were you with Westward Television?
4.5 years altogether, Roger.
And when you first came here, what was your first job?
Well, I was actually employed, as you said, I was with the BBC before. They asked me to come here because Westward decided that they'd like to have a women's programme. And I was invited to join the company as editor of the women's programme, which we called Open House, which ran for the entire 4.5 years that I was here.
So it did.
But, I mean, Westward was, as it was then, a small station where people were expected to be able to do everything. So although I came to edit the women's programme, I ended up presenting it, doing most of the reporting and the research on it. And from time to time, I used to purloin the reporters from Westward Diary. So I had a lissom young Stuart Hutchinson working for me, and the Mr. Andy Price. But then we went on to do things like the children's programme that I produced, which was called Young Eyes, which I think your announcer actually remind me of his name.
David Rogers.
David Rogers, that's right. He started
yes.
work on that for me before he went to Westward. And then we did documentaries, 3 of them.
That's right.
Westward
and for one
Report.
of those documentaries, you actually won an award.
Yes, we won the silver medal at the New York Film Festival for a film that I did called Silent Valley, which John Pett, in fact, directed. And I was looking at your awards earlier, and I see that it's missing. So whoever's using it as a door prop, I'd like it back, please. But there were documentaries, there was Westward Report, there were all sorts of things. And if ever the diary editor saw me sitting down with nothing to do, he used to say, would I come and work for him? Which was how I came to do that story, which was in North Devon, on the very first sunbed that we ever had here in the West Country.
So you'd say you were a maid of all trades while you were here?
Well, I think we all had to be jacks of all trade. I mean, I think we wouldn't have lasted if we hadn't been.
Thank you very much, Angela. Well, we've got to take a break now, but stay with us for more surprises from 20 years of Westward.
In London called Ideas, where they have the most awful things.
20 years of Westward, 4946 TXN 211281, part 2, take 1.
The other thing is...
15 seconds, we...
Welcome back to part 2 of a programme designed to bring back a few memories and reflections of the daily potpourri of life, people and events in the West Country, or as Eric Putnam always refers to it in the Cornish Times, the best country. Closely allied with our major programme, The Diary, has been sport. We may have lacked the Liverpools and Manchester United. It is only in the past couple of years that Somerset's become a major force in cricket. But all that never worried one of our very early sports editors, David Vine.
Well, down there is Hong Kong, and that's certainly a long way from home park Plymouth, but it's still just as windy. It's certainly a long way from those early days at Westward, but I'll never forget those. I think we're all thought of as slightly crazy in those times, the people who worked on that programme, Sports Desk, the late Don Arnold, my great colleague, and in particular the Cameron Jerry Ewins. It was the days when Bruce Teller, that wonderful barefoot runner from Insto, was at his peak. Remember doing a feature on Brian Barnes, now one of the great golfers. At that time, Brian was at Millfield School trying to decide whether to be an athlete, a golfer, or a rugby player. But one particular incident I certainly will never forget is when we filmed the Cows Torquay powerboat race. Cameron Jerry Ewans, myself, and a rather mad pilot called Vaughan Hatton from Torquay took off in a little Oster aeroplane, and we were flying around Cows at very low indeed, because Ewans wanted to get some excellent pictures, and we were going slower and slower. Then suddenly there was a rather choking sound, and the whole thing stopped. Apparently we got a fuel blockage. The only thing I remember about it was the pilot suddenly shouting to me something like, "Open the doors." Well, the last thing I was going to do was open the doors, but as we got down to about 3 feet above sea level with no engines running at all, suddenly there was a spluttering and a cough, and we managed to get back up the top again, and nobody said a word for about half an hour. Got some great pictures of the powerboats, by the way. We, in fact, landed at Exeter to refuel to take the last run from Exeter to Torquay, and I made the executive decision. The camera was going with the pilot, and I was going in the coffee house at the airport. He can do the rest of it. But they were all good times. I never forget them, and I think in the days at Westward, I learned an awful lot that has put me in good stead to go around the world now with other companies. And as they said, you did everything there, from sweep the floor to sign your own expense sheet, which wasn't a lot of good because we never had any money. But they were good days, and as you might say, they were handsome boy. Right, that'll do.
Come on, baby, let's do that twist.
The start of Westward also saw the start of the pop music industry and culture as we know it today. In the early 60s, jiving gave way to twisting, but a more potent pop phenomenon was about to start. That was Beatlemania, and there wasn't a part of the country that didn't suffer and enjoy a visit from the 4 young men from Liverpool.
Beatlemania and other pop phenomena of the early 60s meant that no self-respecting television company was without its gyrating audience, and for Westward, well, does this voice need any introduction?
Oh yes, nostalgia and spin along on Plymouth, on Westward Television down in Plymouth. It was absolutely unbelievable. I remember, as a matter of fact, I've got a little list here of some of the top 10 artists who first appeared on the first show. There was the Temperance 7, Brooke Brothers, Duane Eddy, Craig Douglas, Connie Francis, Floyd Kramer, Helen Shapiro, to name just a few of them. I remember the director, Pat Lumsden, ringing my then agent, Bunny Lewis, and saying, "I've got an idea for a pop show," which was all sort of a bit of a mystery to us then. And he said, "I'm going to gather all the artists, bring them down to Westward Television, actually film them," and in those days it was legal. You could mime, you could play the record and mime, and that was one of the very, very hardest things for the artists to do. However, they got through it, and we used to have this huge party, and all of a sudden pop stars realised that not only could they come down and perform, but in fact that their record that was just coming up would be released almost nationally on television. And stars came from everywhere. We had tremendous fun. It was a very brilliant idea of the director, Pat Lumsden, who unfortunately has now passed on. But of course, 20 years ago, we didn't quite realise just how the pop industry would blossom out. Spin along, that was really something. They were great days. They're not finished yet.
The swinging 60s were a time for teenagers. Music and fashion were the in things, and one pop song summed up a whole era. Anything goes.
Anything goes. Anything goes. Anything goes. Only use hands when hiding clothes. Anything goes. Anything's gone bad today and goes bad today, and black's white today and day's night today. When most guys today, the women guys today are just silly gigolo.
Spin along, the diaries, sports desk, farming, faithful life. The list is almost endless, and to condense 20 years into such a short time is almost impossible. But there were the moments of glory. Emmys, gold, silver and bronze medals from here, there and everywhere, all for programmes running from Wyvern at War through to the Potter's Art, the Loss of the SS Schiller and Tavistock Goosey Fair, all made in the West Country, for the West Country and involving West Country people. And especially involving our guests here tonight. Angela, how do you remember your time here at Westward?
Oh, very happily, without question. I think that, to echo something that David Vine said, we all had to be able to do everything, and I think that since I left Westward, obviously, I've got involved in a lot of other things nationally. But I feel that the time that I spent at Westward was a time when I learnt probably more about television production than I have learnt in all the 14 years I've been in television.
Thank you very much, Angela. Sheila, as the first woman on Westward Television, are your recollections of a happy working atmosphere?
Oh, yes, indeed, yes. It was absolutely marvellous. I think the marvellous thing about it was I came from the theatre and didn't know a thing about television. And the marvellous thing was I could learn about time on the air, and all the viewers really didn't mind. You know, you were sort of waffling away, and the clock would be ticking away, and you thought, yes, you know. It was absolutely marvellous. They were lovely to me too.
Lovely. Kenneth, you were there then and you're here now. What do you think about it all?
Well, it is people, my dear old mates, Stuart Hutchison and Clive Gunnell, we have a common interest in music and Proust, you know, and other passions that we do. I can always remember... Why do you laugh? I do, you know, we do look at that. Proust,
Kenneth,
yes.
Thank you very much. I can see you're having a very happy
That's what we should get
time.
on.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in 10 days' time, an era comes to an end when the Golden Hind symbol vanishes from your screens. And while we don't want to become too maudlin or self-indulgent, we can't resist looking to the man who made it possible. It was in 1957 that Peter Cadbury started to build up a syndicate of local people and show business experts from London in order to be the first to bring independent television to the southwest.
We were pioneers in those days, and television was still a pioneering industry. And it was just a few of us who got together and we set up Westward Television, and we had a lot of fun, and there are so many incidents that would take much longer than this program has time to tell. We had the train. We started with the crazy gang, the Lord Mayor of London, and we set off around the West Country with our special train, and the object of that was to try to get people to change their aerials so they could receive this new ITV signal, because of course they were all on BBC. Over the next 20 years, I was working with a loyal, enthusiastic, and comparatively small group of people, all of us with the same objective, namely to make Westward the friendliest and the most efficient station in the ITV network, and I think we succeeded. I think that the camaraderie among the staff was reflected in the programming. I think it was reflected in the reception we had from the audience we were serving, the popularity of the people taking part, and everything Westward did was aimed at identifying itself as a part of the West Country, and I think we succeeded. And over the following 20 years, we built up, I think, a reputation second to none in ITV. I have always believed that Westward was the best ITV station. It was certainly the friendliest, and it gave me 20 years of a very happy part of my life where I made a lot of friends, and many of those people still are my friends. And I wish the successive companies who run Westward all the luck in the world.
Opening show 4969, TXN 1182, part 1, take 1.
In.
It's BT bike.
Yes, they are.
You ready on the floor? Jeff, are you ready? 2. You ready? See if Lenny's okay to go then. Come here. Come to 1.
Are we ready? Yes, we are. Come on then.
Take it back up.
Where am I? Over here. I might need it. Right. All right. It's okay. How do I look? All right? Smash it. Don't be nervous. Let's do it.
Run BT3. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Run BT5. 1.
Where is it? There.
Welcome, it's party night. Yes, it's TSW, the sign and the symbol of independent television here in the Southwest, your new programme company. And tonight, we at TSW, which we hope you will come to look upon as television simply wonderful, right? We are here at your beautiful downtown Plymouth studios having a party night. It's our first presentation, which with great imagination we've called the opening show. And we're here tonight to meet some of the personalities who work in front of the screen and behind the screen to bring you television every night of the week here in the Southwest. There's some fairly crazy things going along, and this is one of them.
What?
And you know. What are you doing when I've been told?
Right. Here, what's this?
This is the new TSW rejuvenation box.
You must be joking.
No. The thing is, we put you inside and you come out and you've shed years.
My ears are my best feature.
No, years, Ken, years. And to perform this amazing feat of magic at great expense, we have a master magician for you. Here he is, Maestro.
I don't know. Will I look? Will I? I don't know.
Come on,
I wouldn't
Ken,
mind a
it's
bit
gonna
more
work,
there.
it's gonna
I wouldn't
work.
mind that. I don't know.
Mind your war wounds.
Get the ankle over.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
That's it. Right, do your stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, the new rejuvenated Kenneth MacLeod. Oh, I think we've gone a little bit too far.
I'm Kerry.
Kerry who?
Kerry Swain, the new co-presenter of Today Southwest.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, if you're Kerry, where's our Ken?
Don't close. I'm here. Put it up.
There you are.
I'm going. I'm right. I say, that's rather nice.
Ken,
How are
this is
you?
your new
Would you
co-presenter, Kerry.
give me a hand? Oh, hello. Oh, that's lovely.
Kerry,
Thank you.
Ken.
Kerry, I'm sorry to turn my back on you.
Oh, come on, just get down.
How nice to see you.
Pleased to meet you.
Now you've met, let's go back to the studios.
Let's do that thing. Let's go.
Ken MacLeod and Kerry Swain, our presenters here on TSW. Well done. Welcome, Ken. Sorry, ladies first. Kerry,
My great pleasure, Kerry Swain.
What a delight to meet her. And how fine to see you in that box.
And nice to see you after the Pyramid Show. Lovely.
Yes. That's what they call, ladies and gentlemen, in the profession, a presenter's joke.
Oh, I see.
He's confusing me with, I don't even know the man's name. Right, Kerry, first
Yes,
time here on
first
TSW.
time.
Looking forward to it?
Not a lot.
Oh, I can't believe that. She's all shaky.
She's lovely.
Yes, pretty sight.
All her fear's in her big toe, isn't it, Kerry?
It is.
That's where it is. That's where it's got to be.
Okay, well, Kerry, of course, will be our interviewer and doing interviews with famous people and all the stars and celebrities here on TSW. And we thought tonight would be probably the ideal occasion for you to meet somebody who is probably the easiest interviewee you'll
really
ever have in
simple
your
one
life.
for my
An
first
easy
date.
one, a
No
simple
one that's
one.
going to give me a hard time.
No hard time whatsoever. Will you permit me?
Yes.
Gunner Milligan, front and centre. Hep, hey, 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 Right. Name and number. Yes. I said name and number.
Tell him to get out of the way, yes.
Oh, sorry, yes. Yes?
Yes.
But I have to introduce you, Spike. You
Yes.
haven't met this woman except for rehearsal.
Yes.
Kerry Swain, Gunner Milligan.
Hello.
Lieutenant Colonel MacLeod.
Yes.
Sir.
Yes.
Excuse me, this is Piffle.
No, this is true, yes.
Now, Spike,
Speak
make
slowly
yourself
to her.
comfortable.
Yes, speak slowly.
Spike,
Yes.
sit down.
Yes.
Comfortably. Now,
Ignore the white twit with the white hair.
what's this? Would you mind going off?
And yes.
Now, Spike.
He's
Kerry Swain.
Yes. What? Yes.
I've always wanted to meet you. How can I speak to you with these?
Well, it's
headphones on?
wonderful to be. Let me. Wonderful to be here in. Where is it? This is Plymouth.
This is
This is Plymouth. I thought it was bigger than
Can't
this.
see the sea. Listen, Spike. You know,
Yes.
you've been on television, well, since before I was born. And
Right.
you must have gained a lot of experience.
Yes.
You've gained a lot of experience. I was just wondering
Yeah.
if you could pass on some tips to me as someone who's
Yes,
very green in the business.
Caesar's girl in the 3:30 Newmarket. and thought it'd be fun party. Go on. Serious questions now.
Serious question. Supposing, for instance, someone really nutty came on and I had to interview them, how would I cope with it?
First, and I'll be serious, please, Tobias. You got to take all your clothes off first. From then on, it's very easy. It's the end of your career, mind you. But it's a wonderful end to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah?
Marvellous, yes.
Ken, you're not far away, are you?
I'm here. I'm trying to protect you. Now, what about the role of the comedian in contemporary society?
Yes.
No, later. Why are you doing this, Kerry? Ask Spike why
are
you're
you
doing
so
it.
cruel to me?
Yes. How do you think I got this job, Spike?
I give up. How do you You took all your clothes off, like I said.
I'm going to defend Kerry. She did not take
My
my clothes
client is
off.
guilty but insane.
No.
Because it was him.
I took my clothes off.
What is this? Go on, ask the questions then. Come on.
questions.
Yes.
Well, take the nose off, it's a bit
inside.
off-putting.
Inside. Oh, you wear it then, right? Right, how's that?
It doesn't fit my nose. Tell me what...
Go.
Have you brought Spike?
When I signed a contract for this, they said method of payment. I put begging bowl.
Spike, you've got many ways of doing that.
Yes.
You haven't brought your trumpet, have you?
Very good.
It's a pity you haven't brought it. Kerry, thank you. Thank you, Spike, because no news station, obviously, would be... Quiet. Milligan, quiet. Put your nose back
the
on.
only man who
No
dried,
news
the only
station...
man who dried on autocue.
No... Show me the autocue. Show me the autocue. No news station would be on the air without a new march. We've got a new one. It's written by a son of Cornwall, Gough Richards. It's the TSW March, and it's performed...
Yes?
I'll tell you when to get up, Milligan. Performed by the Mount Charles Band. Brilliant. Get up, Spike. Get up.
It's brilliant.
It's the TSW March.
The Mount Charles Brass... I used to love brass bands until Wogan did the floral dance. OK, ladies and gentlemen, time to meet one of our vital backroom boys here at TSW, a gentleman by the name of Derek Burgoyne, and Derek is he's what they call a PE.
Which is a presentation engineer. Presentation engineer, right.
You're not even quite sure himself.
No, I've got to stop and think.
That's right. What do you do, Derek?
Basically, we endeavour to keep the service running for the public, knit all the commercials, promotions, all that lot together to meet the network programmes,
yes,
including, would you believe, punchlines, occasionally.
Do people watch it in the Southwest?
Oh, yes.
I'm delighted to hear that. That's terrific. OK, ladies and gentlemen, who said that? Who booed punchlines? That man there. I thought it was you for a moment. OK, ladies and gentlemen, we have a little film here of Derek Burgoyne at work.
Sometimes.
Yes. I mean, I'll just see how it works out in the end, and I've got to say, local news 541 and
Yeah.
World of Sport. They should work out.
OK, fine.
And 5 in.
And 5 in. Done.
But the forecasters say this should turn to rain overnight and it's expected to become milder. That's the lunchtime news. Our next news, 5:41. Now Dickie Davis with World of Sport.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got a little short time.
We've actually got sound that time. I didn't run you short, did I?
No, it was my fault. Yeah, I just spent too much time in the middle.
Okay.
That watch is around 55 seconds.
Did it? Did it?
And as we here on World of Sport look ahead to 1982, we would like to welcome a brand new television company to the ITV network that will be serving viewers in the Southwest. It's TSW, and over the coming months they will increase their sports coverage. Of course, they'll have their local results as always on a Saturday at 20 minutes to 6. They'll very soon have a regular New Star Sports magazine programme, and there'll be a series of sports specials. TSW plan to bring you the best in sport in addition to our coverage on a Saturday in World of Sport. And of course, we would like to wish them the very best of luck.
In the past year, ITN has put out more than 25 special programmes, including, of course, the royal wedding and all the excitement in space, with the launch of the world's first reusable spacecraft, the Space Shuttle. But who knows, one year, ITN itself may be on that shuttle. In the coming year, all sorts of additional programmes are already being scheduled, especially the Pope's visit to Britain in May, and, of course, Sir Geoffrey Howe's budget. The budget is a regular special, and others will be coming to you with the speed of the news itself. I do hope that you will be viewing, and of course, from me, all good wishes for good news viewing in the coming year on TSW.
It's often thought that the newscasting team of Alistair Burnett, Sandy Gall and myself do nothing but read the news. I wish it was as easy as that. We have to be in the ITN newsroom every day to read all the copy, and we even write and edit a few stories ourselves. I'm interested in reporting as well as presenting the news, so one of these days you might find me down your way with an ITN camera crew.
This is the News at 5:45 production desk, where we discuss all the home and international stories of the day, and where we select and edit the stories which go into our 5:45 program, which goes out every weekday. We try and present a crisp and informative news program which gets you right up to date at the start of the evening. You'll be watching us, I hope, and from myself and all the News at 5:45 team, we send our best wishes to TSW on this, their first day of broadcasting.
There we are. Oh, we are. I'm enjoying this show more by the minute. I have with me now, after those good wishes from friends on the network, a pretty lady who's also one of our backstage performers here at TSW. It's Pat Green. Yes, go on, do it. You'll be doing it all the time. Breathtaking. And Pat is?
A logist.
A logist, yes. What does a television company need with a lumberjack?
I make a note of the exact times of the breaks and programmes.
The commercial breaks? Yes. And that's where we all get our money from.
That's right.
This is you here, right? And what are you doing there? You're timing the commercial?
I'm taking down the time, the exact times to the second of every commercial that's in a particular break.
Uh-huh. What is that machine there? Calculator?
Yes, it is. For hours, minutes and seconds.
Fine. There we go. Look at that. You worked so hard, not a round of applause from anybody here. Without you, we wouldn't have any money. Okay, but of course, apart from that, which is a vital task, you have something which is even more important here at TSW.
Yes, Gus Honey Bun.
Did you hear the shriek of approval throughout the studio? Yes. Say it again.
Gus Honey Bun.
Gus Honey Bun. And of course, with a new program company taking over here in the Southwest, the problem remains. What is going to become of Gus Honey Bun?
My little furry friend, this is it, I'm afraid. With all those new faces on TSW, there's no way you're going to escape. Wreak your worst, oh maestro, but be careful with him. He owes me 50 pence. Oh, Gus! Right his feet! Oh. I don't know whether I'm doing the right thing, you know. I've had so many sleepless nights over this. An onion? I can't relate to that. Oh, my goodness, what am I going to say to the children when they write in for bunny hops and magic buttons and rainbows? It's never going to be the same without Gus. It really... Ugh. Oh, honestly, this is ridiculous. Gonks and onions. I want my rabbit back. Where is he? Yes! Back. Oh, I missed you. I really, really missed you. Yeah, I thought you said you were going to change him.
So far, the really exciting news is the rabbit lives. We leave the first part of our party here at beautiful downtown Plymouth with the news that Spike Milligan has just set fire to the car park attendant. Join us soon for our party.
Opening show 4969 TXN 1182, part 2, take 1.
And welcome back to our party with the news that the car park attendant has retaliated against Milligan with a heat-seeking suppository. Now, a new program company with... What is that, Milligan? What have you got there?
It's an appliance, it's an invisible truss for people who want to go full frontal.
In case you missed that, folks, it was piffle. Now, ladies and gentlemen, a new program company, what do we need? We need new ideas. And for new ideas, who better to go to than an old friend here in the Southwest? No, it's not Gus Honey Bun, it's John Miller. A cracker.
Thank you.
Excellent. What have we got?
Well, now, the point is this. that this new company, in its great wisdom, asked me if I could make some sort of a machine that could give ideas when they were needed, because I'm sure, as everybody knows, television uses up ideas quicker than anything else, quicker than people, for instance. So I built this little portable outfit.
Look at the size of it.
You can put it in a tea chest any time and take it anywhere with you. And what it will do is to give you good reason to get an idea if you haven't got one. What happens is
An
this.
ideas machine,
If you can't think of anything, blank piece of paper in front of you, what do, I hope? You bang your fist on the table.
Yes, yes, that makes sense.
Don't do that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I beg your pardon.
Bang your fist on the table. In this case, if I banged it there, for instance,
yes,
the following sequence would happen. This bit of water would be tipped over onto that piece of paper,
yes,
and there are two end of wires there which are connected to this very sensitive, moisture-sensitive
Yes, this
brain.
is all beginning to make sense.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Now that will start this machine here.
Yes.
This is serious, please.
Of course, yes.
Start this machine, which is a beautiful mover,
Yes, I can
coming
see that,
towards
yes.
me, hopefully with some
This
sort of
will
an
come
idea.
towards me.
Yes.
Yes.
At the same time,
yes,
a cup of tea over there.
Cup
It's
of
very
tea.
essential to get
Yes,
a cup of tea.
of course, of course.
A cup of tea will be brought round to me like
Yes.
This way. Now, as it passes...
Like this way,
Now,
yes,
as
yes,
it hits
yes.
this beautiful switch here, that will fall over.
Yes.
That will send off a ginormous explosion
Yes.
near the customers over there.
Yes.
And that will get to the parts of my brain that normally ideas don't reach. And at the same time, as a safety measure, it'll break that line,
Yes.
set that thing off, which will dampen me down in case I've...
In fact, to sum it up, rubbish.
Yeah. Well,
Yes.
no nonsense.
No,
I can't
no.
think of any ideas.
Right.
So there we go.
Idea
Look
machine.
at that beautiful move.
Excellent,
Isn't
excellent.
that lovely?
Cup of
And
tea
here
on the
comes
move.
my tea. And
Excellent.
it's coming round. It's going to
Yes.
hit this switch,
Hit
you
this-
see?
yeah,
I
it
said
is.
it's
It is
gonna
going to hit the switch,
switch,
definitely.
isn't it?
Yes.
Of course it
We'll,
is.
we'll, sure, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
Look, this is the idea. An idea has reached us.
Wonderful. Well done, John. Tremendous. Yes, yes. Yes. Could you stop this? Well, I must say, John, that is wonderful. Yes. I can't. Does this go on forever? Yes. 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 A wonderful machine based on a statue in Brussels. Now, I can't... Never mind all that, I'm bloody soaking. Now, I can't tell you what a thrill is here coming to this machine that wets your trousers. It's an ideas machine. The idea is out. Here it comes, folks. And the new idea here at TSW is a... There's going to be no more water.
No more.
Is a scintillating series of Sunday concerts, from pop to classical, with Maura Limpany, the Mechanics, Ron Goodwin and members of the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra, and listen to this, Classics Nouveau.
As I stop and look around me, tell me what do I see? Very few things to look forward to for you or me. Not surprising, people want a way out. Now we're flying inside, outside, outside, inside. What was once the best has been surprised. fixed like a memory. What was once the first is now the lost, so it seems to me. Always chasing fighters when they are poor, ever changing. Inside, outside, outside, inside. Outside, inside, inside, outside, outside, inside. How can we live in freedom? We don't know what it means, and I want to live. Now we're standing, going nowhere fast. That's the truth I see. There's no comfort looking to the past. It's always to me. Oh, frustration. Now you spread like fire. Desperation. Inside, outside, outside, inside.
Yeah, right, okay. Yes. Nearly dried out now with the news of the continuing saga that Milligan has just abused the producer with a bucket of custard. Now, among the thousands of good luck messages that have come out over to the new program company, well, not thousands, hundreds in actual fact. Two. Oh my God, I'm next to a drunk. It's a very special one from a Plymouth lad who has now become a superstar, and deservedly so. Filmed in his dressing room at the theatre in London where he's appearing in the hit musical Cats. Here's Wayne Sleep.
Hello. Hello, everybody in the Southwest. Hiya, Mum. Isn't this exciting? A whole new television station of your own. TSW. Gosh. And if the crew's anything to go by up here in my dressing room in London, you're in for a really good time. Anyway, I've got to get ready for the show now, so better have my tea.
Was there ever a cat so clever as magical?
Delicious.
Oh, well, like never was there ever a cat so clever as magical.
Yes, that was Wayne Sleep, who obviously had a very enjoyable time with our film crew. Now, sitting next to me, sitting next to me, please. Now, sit next, pardon, madam. JR, of course. Unknown to the general public of the Southwest, the man next to me, who is faintly ripped but having a good time, is J.R. Ewan. That's right, Jerry, who is, of course, one of TSW's top film cameramen. Welcome, Jerry.
Thank you.
Having a good time?
Super.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
Yes.
Knockout.
Yes, I can see that. Yes. Now, Jerry, tell us something about your job.
Well, I'm one of the film cameramen. There's two units, and the other unit is David Harth, my colleague and friend.
Does he drink as well?
Oh, that's why he's not here. I think it's that table he's under, actually. Yeah. So that's it.
And you film basically local stories, local news?
Well, everywhere.
Everywhere,
Lenny. Yes, we travel the length and breadth of our regions abroad.
Really?
Sometimes when we're lucky.
But what kind of places have you been to?
Oh, Milan, Marrakesh.
Marrakesh? Really? Did you get laid? And
I'm not going to answer that.
No, I can't answer that. Marrakesh, really? I mean, was it really exciting in Marrakesh?
Oh,
I know Mrs. Ewing is sitting here. Oh, God, of course. But she knows you do have to go away from time to time. Yes.
She understands.
Of course. And the lovely part is it's all on expenses.
I'm not allowed to say that.
Yes. No, but I am. I think we've got I think we have some film here of Jerry and his colleagues in work gathering local programmes for us here in the Southwest.
I think we have that. Oh, no, we need 2 seconds more, yeah. Isn't this fun?
Keep your screens clear for a season of late-night continental films that'll make you laugh, keep you gripped, and set your senses tingling. Get a thrill in the eye for a pain in the and that smooth, purring feeling from The Cat.
I drank too much, didn't I?
I like that. You get sexy when you drink.
I don't need that.
Make sure you're turned on, because Friday night on TSW is Continental Cinema, starting with Jacques Tati's classic comedy, Traffic.
I don't believe this is happening. I said, let's meet Tavistock School, and here they are being entertained by this idiot, who's Ian Calvert, and he's a DJ, and I wish he'd stop doing that. And look at all this lot, they're great. I'm shattered. You've exhausted me. And I can't even remember what the programme's called anymore.
What's it called, kids?
The Saturday Show!
At each of these places, there's a tale to tell. Tales of ghosts and devils and giants. True stories, myths and legends. From these actual sites, storytellers will recount mysterious tales.
Yes. Are we going to clap them or not?
Yes, why not?
I think they did quite well. That was the work of some of our film crews at work here in the Southwest. Now, there is one person in every television studio that every performer will tell you he is terrified of, and that is the studio cameraman. Because if you annoy him, there's no knowing what he's going to do to you as a performer. Right? Now, you have to keep them happy because they're very heavy drinkers, and the only way sometimes to keep them happy is to take them over a drink, and if it's a party, give them a sausage roll as well. Ladies and gentlemen, here's Peter Ward. There you are, Peter. It's party time. A sausage roll and a glass of wine. Are you allowed to drink on duty? No. Oh, really? Oh, go on, have one. Can Peter have a drink? Yeah. I mean, is there such a thing as being drunk in charge of a camera? Right? Go on, Peter. Wish everybody all the best for our new programme. Go on.
TSW.
TSW is the toast. Why not? Drink to TSW. Super. Fine. Now, Peter, of course, is the man that works in the studio. He films or uses his camera to bring to your homes the pictures of what is going on in the studio. Tell us, Peter, who are your favourite performers? Apart from comedians, I know you love comedians.
Kenneth MacLeod.
Kenneth MacLeod? Oh, he's a crawler as well. Right. Who else?
Well, I mean, I mentioned Ken because, in fact, he's completely unpredictable.
Really?
Right.
Yes, that's probably why he's
sitting quietly over there.
Yes, groping a lady. Yes, I can see that, yes. And she's not stopping him either. That's nice. Yes, go on.
And, of course, the most interesting things are musical items.
Really?
Which we enjoy doing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one coming up now, which is Atmosphere.
And you
a
dance
dance group.
Super. And you actually were in the studio to use your camera on this dance group.
Right.
Atmosphere. Let's have a look at that. Here's a pretty lady who does a very important job here at TSW. This is Jane Ross, and Jane, you're in charge of. I'm sorry, in charge of. Yes. More important.
Billings.
Billings.
Yes.
What are billings?
I provide all the programme information to TV Times.
Which is vital. Here we have it here, and you tell people what's on, what time it's on, and things like that. And this is our first show. You enjoying it?
Yes.
Great fun.
Much, yes, yeah. Great fun.
Who is this young sir here with you?
It's my fiancé, Kevin.
Your fiancé, Kevin. That's right. Kevin didn't know he was going to be on television tonight, did he, Kevin? Because when we're sitting here, when the dancers are on, you say, "Don't put me on, for God's sake." Look in the camera, Kevin. This is really embarrassing, isn't it? Yes, particularly when you're out on bail. Yes. I know. What do you do, Kevin? You're not in television, are you?
No, I'm not. No, I'm a vet.
A vet?
Yeah. I'm looking after Gus Honeyburn.
Yes, you're here to take care of Gus. I wonder why he had rubber gloves on. You'll have to see it. All right. And as Jane says, of course, she is in charge of billings, and when you pick up your TV Times and you read it throughout the Southwest, Jane is the one that's responsible for all that. Right, Jane? In fact, you're the one that actually put in TV Times this week that this show would last for 1 hour.
That's right.
That's
yes.
right. And it's an hour and a half, isn't it, Jane? That's Jane's first big mistake. Here's Jane at work. What are you doing there, darling?
Oh, I'm speaking to TV Times, correcting a billing.
Yes.
14th of February? Yes, that's more Olympany. It's 26 minutes, roughly. It's in a 30-minute slot, but the duration is about 26.
Run BT5. 9.
No, I'm not sure, actually. We haven't actually got a time for it yet. She plays several pieces, works by Ravel, Debussy and Chopin.
Opening show 4969 TXM 1182, part 3, take 1.
Welcome back, indeed, ladies and gentlemen, to TSW's opening show, and I do hope you're enjoying it at home, because there's nothing worse than sitting at home at 7 o'clock watching a lot of drunks. Now, stand back. Now, somebody who isn't drunk, of course, because he's got a vital job here at TSW, is young Pat Morris. And Pat is, he's a VTR engineer. Tell us about your job, Pat. What do you do?
Well, I'm one of a team of engineers in the technical area, and we operate and maintain the telecine machines and VTR machines where we record programs and obviously transmit them.
That's right. Here in Plymouth. I think you see us now. This is your job?
Yes, I'm operating one of our helical scan machines. Yeah.
So you don't get a trip to Marrakesh or anything like that?
No such luck.
What is that?
Spooling one of our VTRs towards a recording we'd recently made of Mike Westbrook and his brass band.
The badger, grunting on his woodland track, with shaggy hide and sharp nose scrowed with black, roots in the bushes and the woods and makes a great huge burrow in the ferns and brakes. With nose on ground, he runs awkward pace, and anything can beat him in the race. The shepherd's dog will run him to his den, followed and hooted by the dogs and men. The woodmen, when the hunting comes about, go round at night to stop the foxes out. And hurrying through the bushes, ferns and brakes, nor sees the many holes the badger makes, and often through the bushes to the chin, breaks the old holes and tumbles headlong in. When midnight comes, a host of dogs and men go out and track the badger to his den. They put a sack within the hole and lie till the old grunting badger passes by. He comes and hears, they let the strongest loose. The old fox hears the noise and drops the goose. The poacher shoots and hurries from the cry, and the old hare, half wounded, buzzes by. They get a forked stick to bear him down, and clap the dogs and bore him to the town, and bait him all the day with many dogs, and laugh and shout and fright the scampering hogs. He runs along and bites at all he meets. They shout and holler down the noisy streets. He turns about to face the loud uproar and drives the rebels to their very doors. The frequent stone is hurled where'er they go, when badgers fight and everyone's a foe. The dogs are clapped and urged to join the fray. The badger turns and drives them all away. Though scarcely half as big, demute and small, he fights the dogs for hours and beats them all. The heavy mastiff, savage in the fray, lies down and licks his feet and turns away. The bulldog knows his match and waxes cold. The badger grins and never leaves his hold. He drives the crowd and follows at their heels and bites them through the drunkard swears and reels. The frighted women takes the boys away. The blackguard laughs and hurries on the fray. He tries to reach the woods, a awkward race, but sticks and cudgels quickly stop the chase. He turns again and drives the noisy crowd and beats the many dogs in noises loud. He drives away and beats them, every one, and then they loose them all and set them on. He falls as dead and kicked by boys and men, then starts and grins and drives the crowd again, till kicked and torn and beaten out he lies, and leaves his hold, cackles, groans, and dies.
summer song Mary was born.
For such a friend, fate shall be thanked, and line but our pockets with grass. We'd sooner suck ale through a blanket than thimbles of wine from a glass.
We'll start it 3 hours before 7, when larks wake the morning to dance, and we'll stand it till night's black 11, when witches ride over some grass, and we'll sing it in spite of the weather, till we tumble dead drunk on the plain, when the morning shall find us together, all willing to stand it again.
I enjoyed that. We have to try to take a rather serious note now, because I'm sitting here with the boss. Right. At this moment, I'm here to talk to Brian Bailey, who's the chairman of TSW, a new programme company here at the South West. Brian, are you enjoying yourself?
Oh, I'm having a marvellous time.
I can see that.
In spite of everything.
Yes, in spite of the in spite of the fact that you're one man in the whole place. Why hasn't the governor got a drink? Look at this empty glass.
Well, they know I'm by instinct and they abstain me as purse.
Do you really?
No,
So I can't
no,
tempt you
not
into
really.
a small glass?
Yes, you could.
I
very
could tempt you
easily.
into... Where's Jeff? Jeffy, come here. You give us a drink. Yes, perfect. Yes. There's some, some scoundrels at the back would like one as well. Right,
Has
there
this,
we are.
has this been doctored or something?
Has it been doctored? Yeah. No, but Jeff has. Listen.
Well, we all knew that.
Brian, may I, on behalf of everybody here tonight, and I'm sure throughout the region, wish you the best of luck for TSW. Cheers.
Yeah. Well, thank you very
much. Now, what do you, has the board of TSW in mind?
Well, I think it's typified by some of the events of tonight, the best of everything. I mean, from Spike Milligan right across to Moira Limpany. And
really?
Something
You
for
haven't even
everybody.
mentioned me.
No, I know. I said some of what's happened tonight.
That's right.
But, of course, more and more it will be angled to the requirements of the region itself. We're very anxious to serve the region before we get involved in all the intricacies of network, although that will be welcome to us as well.
Of course. Is this your first venture into television? Yourself?
Well, I've been in front of the camera a fair number of times,
really?
But I've not got involved in the...
Not the black and white minstrel, surely.
You spotted me.
That's right. It was the hat that did it.
Actually, I thought it was the falsetto.
Wonderful hat. Yeah, I mean, is that the chairman's? I noticed nobody else has got a hat like you.
Well, I have to be distinctive, you know. Otherwise, nobody would know I was the chairman.
And quite rightly
yes.
so. Because they tell me, because you don't know I'm going to ask you this, but they tell me you have a rather unusual hobby.
Ah. Well, yes, of late I've acquired quite a keen interest in palmistry.
The occult?
If you say so, yes.
Yes. Well, I can, because I'm the host.
Yes.
But you can look into the future.